Just 2 years ago, Jamahal Hill was on top of the world. He was the UFC light heavyweight champion. He just beat fan favorite Glover Teixeira in a masterclass of takedown defense and distance striking. Jamahal Hill showed us his skill set and was standing on top of a pretty competitive weight class. But here we are 2 years later, and he might quite literally be the cringiest guy in the UFC. Being cringy in the UFC isn't new. Famously, Henry Cejudo was the king of cringe, Triple C. He had a whole persona dedicated to bothering people and saying annoying things. Colby Covington has built an entire career around trying to trigger people and being cringy. The difference is, both of those gentlemen were putting on an act. It was a persona. That is not their authentic self. Unfortunately for us, Jamahal Hill is being his authentic self. Every single cringy thing that man has done has been from the heart. And that is a major problem for Jamahal Hill, his PR, and his ability to build a fan base. Jamahal Hill was going into UFC 300, coming back after an injury. Never actually lost his light heavyweight championship. Leading up to that fight, I talked about how good his striking was and how he could potentially give Alex Pereira some problems. He had a great jab. Alex Pereira notably can get stopped and beat up with jabs. But that's not what we got, was it? We got some weird promos with some statues. We got some ridiculous yelling for no reason, and ultimately he was knocked out. But that's okay, right? People lose fights. This isn't boxing. But he didn't take it okay. He blamed the referee. He made up all sorts of excuses. To this day, 8 months later, he is in complete denial that he was unconscious and forever a meme. And that's the problem with Jamahal Hill, because it didn't end there. It's not just his inability to accept a loss. He's arguing with strangers on the internet. People were trying to compliment him on Twitter, and instead he attacked them because he couldn't read the room. Jamahal Hill was driving around trying to flash cash in a car, pretending he's the richest man in the world. He's putting up videos of people on TikTok, on Twitter, that have called him out. Just recently, he went to the gym, the same gym where Alex Pereira was. And instead of trying to exchange pleasantries like a normal human being should, he started some fake fight. Pretended he actually wanted that smoke, but he didn't, did he? Because when he went up to Alex and was talking shit through a language barrier, Alex tossed some gloves at him and said, let's go. Did Jamahal Hill take those gloves and go in the cage? Of course he did not. He just kept running his mouth and slowly backed away. Jamahal Hill has become a bit of a clown, and that's a major problem. This is the entertainment business. Your paycheck is completely contingent on your ability to get fans to care. You want them to love you, you want them to hate you. What you don't want is them to laugh at you and ignore you. Jamahal Hill needs to figure some things out, and he needs to figure it out fast. He's fighting Jiri Prochazka at UFC 311 in just about a month now. And if he can go from here to there without embarrassing himself, without saying absurd things, without coming up with ridiculous excuses, he might be in good shape, because I think that's a very winnable fight for him. But between now and then, he needs to calm down. Jamahal Hill needs to relax. Accept the fact that you lost that fight. Go out there, beat Jiri Prochazka, and make the argument for a rematch. Don't go up to a gentleman that knocked you unconscious and turned you into a meme and pretend that he's moving up a weight class to get away from you. That's an absurd thing to do. Jamahal Hill, you are quite literally the cringiest person in the UFC right now, but people are talking about you, and that's a good thing. Turn this video, turn these conversations, turn all of it into something positive. Be a cool dude. Go beat Jiri Prochazka and remind everybody how you even became the UFC light heavyweight champion of the world.